So if you're just joining us, this is Chewing the Scenery with Lauren and Danny on homegrownradionj.org. We are here in Boonton in the studio. We are very excited. We have our next guest coming on the air with us. Are we ready?
I'm ready. Lee, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay. Okay,
Awesome.
this worked. Okay. So welcome to homegrownradionj.org and welcome to Chewing the Scenery with Lauren and Danny.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. First, it was funny because I don't know if you saw my live video. Danny was like, well, how did you meet Lee? And I said, I met him the old-fashioned way on Twitter.
On Twitter. Yeah, I did. I saw that, actually. Yeah.
And we met because I think I was tweeting about the man in the high castle, and I think you had liked one of my tweets, and I went to your page, and I said I want to interview you, and then we kind of connected that way. But I love that show, so I definitely want to just run out of the gate with talking about it, because to me it is such an amazing series, and you must be like pinch me that you're a part of it. So how did that all come about?
It is kind of a little bit of a dream, right? I think, for me as an actor, that kind of serious 1 hour drama is kind of the thing that I always wanted to do. So that was nice. But I'd been a Philip K. Dick fan for a long time. I mean, Blade Runner, obviously, the movie adaptation of Duane's Dream of Electric Sheep, and Minority Report and Scanner Darkly, and just everything. I've always loved his work. So when I heard that they were going to be shooting, when especially Ridley Scott was going to be adapting Men in the High Castle, I called my agent and said, look, no matter what size of the role is, I don't really care. I just have to be on this show. Like, it'll, it's kind of like be like a nice little childhood dream, similar to X-Files, right? Like, I watched that as a kid, and I would kill to just even do one line on that show, just as kind of a little fun thing.
Right.
And so he was like, well, they've got this tiny role that they're seeing people for. It's just like a one episode, couple of line deal. And I'm like, hey, I don't care. It'll just be fun.
Right.
And, I went in and I read for that. And luckily for me, the producers really liked what I was doing. And so they said, hey, how about we expand this, and how about you come back and we turn it into an actual bit of a thing. And yeah, Sergeant Yoshida was born.
I know.
So I was
exciting.
very lucky.
Oh gosh. So, and but your story's interesting because when I went on your IMDb, you actually have a degree in law, correct?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I actually have it up right now, and it says that you worked as a lawyer for several years before pursuing acting. So, how did that come about? Why law?
It was one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things. You finish high school, and your parents and teachers are like, "Hey, you've got decent grades. You should probably do something with that." And there was a lot of pressure to do. Really, it was either law or medicine. And to be honest, I figured I could slack my way through law school. Med school. I don't know why I thought that, but I just did. And so I did that, and I gave that a shot, but it was very kind of unfulfilling. So yeah, after a while, I decided that
lawyers are actors.
I was just going to say it's kind of it is performing. I mean, you're in front of the jury. I mean, there does take some creativity, and you need to think outside the box. So I'm actually I'm not surprised that maybe that's where you started. But did you do like your high school play? Like, where'd you grow up? Can you tell our listeners?
Yeah, I grew up in a small town called Tamworth, which is in Australia. It's got about 50,000 people. It's kind of in between Sydney and Brisbane. So it's like a nice little small town. And to be honest, I didn't do a lot of drama in high school. I was more of a musician growing up. The way I guess the kind of acting bug started for me was I majored in film studies for my liberal arts major. And I just fell in love with film and television, and I just kind of fell in love with the medium and that way of telling stories. So it's kind of even a weird way that I got into acting, really.
No, but I think that happens. I think sometimes like the bug comes, or it just hits you at a certain point in your life. Maybe it's when you feel more confident about yourself, or you just kind of get that, that thing that you want to do it. Now, you're also on Supernatural, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Now, where did they film that? Because you right now live in Canada.
I do. Yeah, they filmed that in Vancouver as well.
Oh, okay.
wow, okay.
Okay, so both shows are filmed in
Yeah.
Vancouver. So now, what made you decide? Because you had made a post, I want to say, like a month ago. Because you haven't been in Vancouver that long, have you?
No, only a couple of years.
And you said that you decided you were going to leave Australia and move to Canada. What made you decide that you wanted to make Canada your place and where you really explore acting?
Well, so Vancouver's kind of affectionately known as North Hollywood because they do film a lot of stuff
Right.
here. And you know, obviously a lot of people go to LA, and I think LA is inevitably where you want to end up and where you have to be when you want to take it to a certain level. But I think, you know, when you look at kind of like opportunity, LA is a huge center, and there's a lot of opportunity, but then there's also a lot more people there, so the competition's a lot fiercer. So I just thought if I moved to Vancouver, where it's a little bit smaller, it might be easier to break in. So that was kind of my thinking there.
And I was like,
Yeah.
well, that was smart thinking because you're doing a lot of stuff,
Well, yeah,
you know?
it seemed to have worked out.
Yeah,
luckily,
I'm thinking
luckily for
maybe
me.
that's where I need to go because
Oh,
this
Canada.
whole New Jersey thing now
Yeah, no.
is not happening. No, it is. But no. So what's it like now? So you know, The Man in the High Castle has a totally different feel. Can you explain actually to our listeners what the show is about, the concept, which I find fascinating?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's set in an alternate reality in 1960s America, and in this reality, the Allies lost the war, so the Axis powers, the Nazis, won, and they basically occupy America, and the Japanese occupy the West Coast, and the Nazis occupy the East Coast, and then the show kind of explores what it's like to live in that universe, and what it's like to experience that kind of totalitarian rule and all the and all the kind of dark, brutal, and
Yeah.
depressing things that entails.
And it is dark. It definitely has a dark feel to it. But I was hooked from the first episode, and I'll tell you, I thought season 2 even outdid season 1. So I'm excited for the next season.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, season 2. Yeah, I think we were very proud of that in the end.
Yeah, it was great. And then, spoiler, your character did die. But you know, what's interesting about the show is it's all flashbacks. Like it goes back and forth. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll see
They
you in a
keep you around in
flashback.
those
Yeah, they'll keep you around in a flashback at least because I think I'm going to miss you.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, you never know. You never know. It's yeah, exactly. The nature of the show, anything could happen. So nothing's out of the question.
So Lee, since you're part of 2 shows, you have one on network television and then another one on Amazon, and you know, with Amazon and Netflix and Hulu, I mean, all these outlets now are creating original work, which is becoming so popular and exciting. What's it like working on the 2 different sides of it, essentially, you know, on a network show and then this live streaming, not online streaming?
Yeah, I guess it's even more polarizing in a sense in that one's been around for forever
Right.
and one's brand new as well. So that also has a very different flavor. Look, the interesting thing about Supernatural, I think a reason that it's been around for 13 years or going into its 13 years is they're kind of not afraid to take risks. Like when you look at the kind of season arcs and look at the things that they've done, they're definitely trying to push the envelope still, as opposed to resting on their laurels, which I think is part of why it's gone along. But you know, just a general observation, and not necessarily for Supernatural, but network shows in general, you know, because they're funded by advertising as opposed to the streaming services, they sometimes are a little bit more constrained in what they can do, because it is all about the demographic and it is all about kind of making sure you've got eyeballs for that ad space, and you kind of have to answer to those corps. Whereas the streaming services, and especially because they're new as well, I think they're more willing to take risks, and they're more willing to explore quirkier shows or darker shows, or do things that they may not necessarily do on a network show. Even killing characters, right? You know, network shows, if fans really love a character, they're going to be hesitant to kill it off because they want people to come back. Whereas the streaming show is like, no, if the character has to die for the story,
Right.
he's dead.
That's such a great point. Yeah.
Well, and Amazon is huge. I'm doing background on an Amazon show. It's
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a web series. But streaming is the hottest thing. I mean,
really is.
I mean, I watch so many shows on Amazon and Netflix. All these stream shows now. It's
I'm currently watching 13 Reasons Why on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix, and I'm amazed by the
content.
the controversy behind
Right,
it.
right.
I mean, just right here in New Jersey, in the States, there's schools are sending out letters to parents, essentially warning them
Wow.
about the kids watching the show, which I think is fascinating because it's an interesting show, but I've seen other stuff like that on network television or in other outlets, and there's never been such a response to it, which I think is interesting.
Well, and I think because it is a stream show, and I agree with Lee, even, like cable, like HBO, I think really they were one of the first shows, remember Deadwood?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh my gosh, there's F-bombs and naked people, and then they got Rome, and now it's almost hard to watch network TV, I think, because we're so used to we can handle more content, I think, more violence. I don't know.
Well, and plus, the streaming thing, so a kid can easily be looking at their smartphone watching it.
Right.
And no one knows. I mean, the parents don't know that they're watching it, where, they're not sitting in front of a television.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and it's so true. That you can't monitor the TV use like you used to because it's on all devices, it's everywhere, and they can watch it wherever, whenever. So.
No, that's true. I didn't even think about that. You could just pick up your phone, and I could be right here watching a show that's just streaming on.
Yeah, totally.
And then there's 5-minute shows, 10-minute shows.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely a phenomenon, and Amazon Prime is definitely where I go and watch a lot of my shows. Now, I have a question for you about Supernatural. So when you get to the set for Man in the High Castle, what is generally your call time? Because I'm sure it's different from the other one because you have to wear a lot of makeup for Supernatural, correct?
Not too much.
Not too much?
I'm kind of lucky in that the demons possess human bodies, so I
Right.
really just yeah.
You could roll out of bed.
Call times. Call times varies, because sometimes we have overnight shoots. Sometimes, we're shooting in the day. Sometimes we're shooting really early in the morning. There's never really a set time, so.
Life in production. It's so different than theater.
Yeah.
Because we have our matinees and we have our evening shows. But like you said, you could be filming a scene and you have to be there, at 3 a.m? So
Yeah.
you use, the proper lighting, right?
Sure. So
Yep.
I'm here looking at your IMDb page, and there's a little trivia section, and it says, you mentioned that you're a former musician. It said you played in a couple cover bands.
Oh, get out!
So what kind
You
of music
did?
did you play?
Look, it was kind of like one of the jobs I had putting myself through law school. So I used to do a little bit of session work and play in a bunch of cover bands around the town. But we would just do pop, rock, classics, just the kind of things that you want to hear at a bar when you're out and you want to dance. So we really did a little bit of everything.
So who's your favorite
It was
band?
a lot of fun.
I'm going to ask you, put you on the spot. Who's your favorite band now? Who's on your playlist?
I always say Tool are probably my favorite band of all time.
Oh,
wow,
yeah,
okay.
I like Tool.
Yeah.
They have a little harder
and then,
sound.
Led Zeppelin, obviously.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. Classic. This is
Yeah.
you got to come to Homegrown. Listen, when you come to New Jersey, you got to hit me up and you got to visit the studio.
Oh, I'd love to. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great. Now, listen. So when we were going back and forth, you were right in the middle of pilot season. So can you explain to our listeners what pilot season is like for an actor and what it entails?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. So pilot season is kind of the year that all the networks produce one episode of their potential new shows. So each network or service or studio, maybe, they might make between, 5 to 10 new shows, and they're all kind of vying for which one will get ordered to series. The networks make their decisions around May, actually. They, watch them and decide which ones they like. So it's really quite a crazy time because there's so many shows being cast at once and such variety and so many big roles and it's kind of everyone feels like it's their shot to land a regular gig as opposed to just doing a guest star or a recurring or something else. So it's a kind of a frantic time and everyone's feeling a lot of pressure and probably a lot of hope.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're involved in a show where you play William Shakespeare, a television show where you play William Shakespeare that you posted. So what is that? But it's a modern telling. So it's a Shakespeare. It's called Ask Will. Can you talk a little about that?
Yeah, I kind of liken it to Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay.
It imagines Will Shakespeare as the modern day, and he's kind of this struggling writer, and he ends up to make ends meet to write a romance column. Okay. And the people who write in are like modern day interpretations of Romeo and Juliet, and Antony and Cleopatra, and so they will write in and kind of express their problem, which will be loosely based on the play, and then they also all happen to live in this town, so you'll see them, and it's just this weird, quirky sitcom, which is kind of populated with Shakespeare characters and has little Shakespearean Easter eggs.
No, but I love that. So are you prolific in Shakespeare, or did you just pick it up because the language, the pentameter? Not everyone can do it, but you do. So how did you did you study it in college, or was it something that you just kind of took a real good liking to and are able to do it?
Well, I mean, Shakespeare is Shakespeare, right? He's the man. I think you can't really. Well, I'm a little bit old school in that, as an actor, I think you have to pay your respects to what's come before,
Sure.
and Shakespeare is Shakespeare for a reason. So, I mean, I'm not the best Shakespearean actor in the world, I'll be the first to admit, but I do love some Shakespeare, particularly things like Richard III and Macbeth, and a lot of his more tragic works.
Right.
I think yeah.
So now this Ask Will show, is this a web series? Where could we find this?
Yeah, so I mean, we got funding to produce a 10-minute pilot. But the idea is it would be more of a fully fleshed sitcom.
Okay.
So you can catch the 10-minute pilot on YouTube right now, but again, it's like hoping someone will fund it kind of deal. So.
Right.
Well, that's always the thing. It's show business,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
It's the
with a huge emphasis on the business.
I know.
Really,
I really should be business show. That's why I always say it's the creative is great, but God, you got to be a hustler. So what's coming up next for you? What projects are you working on that you can share that with our audience, with our listeners?
Yeah, it's tough, right? NDAs and such.
Yeah.
Well, right now I'm doing a play this month. So the actress Mayumi Yoshida, who played the Crown Princess in season 1 of High Castle,
yes.
she's written a play that's loosely based on her grandmother's life. So we're doing a run of that in Vancouver this month.
That's great.
Nice.
So you do both. That's awesome.
Yeah, again, I think you have to, right? They're very different mediums, I think, but I kind of, like a very simplistic analogy. It's like I think of acting like for film and TV as sprinting, and theater as a marathon. And obviously you're going to be better at one or the other, but both have their, both are, a thing, and you should try your hand at both, and
that's
inevitably
that's a great analogy for it. Really
Yeah, I love that analogy. And it's, what, it is true because in theater, not that you don't rehearse in film and TV, but it's such a big, process. And I think it's the marathon because you're in this play, you have to do the same thing every night.
You don't know what kind of reaction
You don't know what you're
going
going to get from the audience. So it's like you're in it. You want to get lost in it, but you also have to have your ears and your wits about you. Theater is actually...
There's no cuts.
It's like, and I just did a play in the fall, and I hadn't been on stage in a long time because I do more directing choreography, and this woman was like, I think this is a great part for you, this director. So I came in and I did it. And I forgot how exhausting it is to be in a play.
Absolutely.
And
what play was it?
It's a play called Spin. And ironically enough, it took place, I was the presidential candidate's wife. So it took place during an election.
Yeah, this is right before our election.
Right before our election. And there's a scandal that comes out about the president's wife. And at first you think it's that she was a call girl, in her youth. But then you come to discover that it might be that she had an abortion at some point in her life, but you never really know what it is, and it's all about how the media and how everything gets spun in the media. So we really never know what we're really what what's true and what's not. So the play had a kind of had some ambiguity to it.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you say, Danny?
Yeah.
But it was fun because I got to be this character and people would say, well, did you have the abortion? I was like, I don't know. Do you think I did? What do you think? You think I did? And at the end, my husband leaves me, the president, but he doesn't tell me. So I find out on the news that he's walking out on me. And everyone in the audience was like, oh. So I had some people that were really in my corner, like, I can't believe he did that to you. What a terrible human being. And then I had some people that like, you were so horrible. But it's funny how the audience, you get a different perspective. So I guess
that means that's proof you did a good job.
Right? Yeah,
because you're polarizing people. I mean, that's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. And actually, I'm sorry, Danny, but I thought about you the other night, Lee, because we were watching the non-correspondence that they had here with
the White House.
The White House, but it was like the comedians were coming out, and they had a little nod to the Man in the High Castle. Someone came out and handed Samantha Bee a video that Hillary Clinton actually won the election, and this is so we're living in an alternative, universe. So I actually was like, oh my God, how perfect.
Well, there's a website too that's devoted to if Hillary Clinton won the election.
Oh, really?
And like you go on it and everything.
Is it really?
Yeah, and it's like literally, it's like President Clinton today signed this executive order, and it's literally what she's doing, who she's meeting with. There's like one post where it's like she sat with her. I think it was her Secretary of State, Elizabeth Warren. It's like so
Man in the High Castle.
Totally.
This is like our alternative reality. So you were going to ask Lee.
So Lee, who are some artists that you look up to, or you see their career and go, you know what, that's the path I want to take, or even mentors that you might have.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's just a good question. In terms of like big celebrities, I think I'm a huge fan of Idris Elba. Huge fan of the late Philip Seymour Hoffman, and unfortunately the late Heath Ledger as well as another Aussie. Yeah. So look, I tend to like people who, the celebrity is secondary. It's about the work, and a lot of actors tend to like make a career out of playing themselves or variations of themselves forever. So I tend to gravitate more towards people who are just constantly looking for a challenge and really trying to do something different.
So what would be something you would tell a mentee? Like you have like a young actor, like you're given a workshop or you're on a panel and you're looking out in a sea of all these young aspiring actors. What would you tell them?
Look, I tell them just to work really, really hard, and to know that a lot of the times the casting decisions aren't really about your acting, unfortunately.
Right.
It's about so many other things, but that if you consistently work hard and push yourself, eventually someone's going to see something in you, and you will get a role that will allow you to show what you can do.
And do you think
it could take?
No, go on. I'm sorry.
It could take a day. It could take 10 years, but
sure.
It'll happen.
And do you feel that maybe Sergeant Yoshida is maybe that role for you, because that was such a great opportunity? Are you hoping?
Well, it's interesting in that I think there's a lot of especially with social media now, people tend to like latch onto one thing and they'll call it a breakout role or a breakout actor and whatever. But Sergeant Yoshida was definitely a huge opportunity for me, and I learned a lot. It was a great experience, and it's definitely got me a lot of exposure. But I try not to think of anything as the one. It's an essential cog, but it's just a cog.
Yep, and you're going to keep on going,
right?
And add more pieces, and you're going to keep on adding.
I hope so.
So now I think we're on your IMDb. Can you scroll for a minute? Because you're a sci-fi guy too. If I stand, you like a lot of the superhero stuff. If I stand corrected, I think that.
Look, to be honest, I like a bit of everything. But sci-fi is great. The superhero stuff's great.
Is there a role out there that you're like, I have to play that?
Yeah.
And it could be,
in a
movie
play
or in a play.
Well, good question.
Danny's he's on a roll today.
Yeah.
Just put you on the spot. You
look,
know?
I do want to play. I do want to play a supervillain one day, for
Yeah.
sure. I think that would be a lot of fun. But what I would love is like a Breaking Bad role. I would love to play a really complex anti-hero and kind of explore his journey or his fall from grace. That's really what I would like.
Now, with the supervillain, I mean, do you have one in mind? Do you want to play a new one, or is it one that you'll watch Spider-Man or Batman and go, I would love to be the villain in that.
Or is there one that hasn't even been created yet?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, good
Danny.
question. Yeah. Someone with a few layers, I think. Someone who's a little bit more complex. Like I don't really want to be like a cardboard cutouty villain, but
Sure.
yeah, I don't know. Like I always thought Magneto was interesting.
Oh,
Yes. He is
He's had
complex.
so many iterations now. So
I wonder, too,
Yeah.
because Magneto is played by Ian McKellen, too, and he's just...
And then the younger one
Oh,
is...
that's right.
There's two.
That's right. There's a younger version, because I think of Ian McKellen, I
Right.
think of just what he brings to
Right.
it, and it's... You almost...
he's phenomenal.
You root
right?
for him.
He's an amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, is he really a villain? I mean, I hate to be like, he's not bad. I mean, because he obviously his intentions, but there's, like you said, he's not so black and white. It's not like bad guy, good guy. There's more to him. I actually feel for that character because of what he went through as a child.
Right.
That scene is so heart wrenching. And I think it was in the
Right.
original film. I mean, I actually had to walk out of the theater. I was really upset by it. When he was taken away from his parents, I was like so incredibly moved. I cried. So that means that they did a good job, I guess. So, Mike, how do you prepare for such a role? Like sometimes you hear these stories, like Vivian Leigh never really came out of playing in A Streetcar Named Desire. She never came out of that Blanche Dubois. So, and I know that there can be that danger. What do you do to prepare yourself so you don't get stuck? Because I think that I think that is a danger sometimes if you get so caught up in your role and you become so, because we have to invest, but we have to be able to go back and forth. What do you do when you're preparing for a role?
I think you're right. You do have to invest. So obviously, I'm a big research guy. So I will read and watch, as much as I can about every facet, that I can get my hands on. So for Man in the High Castle, I was reading a lot about, the Japanese culture, like immediately before the war and during the war, and a lot about the Kempeitai, and just a lot about history and the period. So yeah, you do a lot of that stuff, and the camps, and Manzanar and everything. But in terms of making sure you don't get lost, look, I think at the end of the day, it's important to, if you're grounded as a person, and you have a personal life, and you have good friends and good family, then you have a reason to come back, right? And you have an anchor. Whereas if you're totally consumed by the work, and your personal life maybe isn't that great, or you're a little lonely or bored, then it's easier to get lost in the acting world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you're escaping reality for a false reality, essentially, if you are not, totally clear-headed.
I think so, yeah. And as much as you love, because I love acting like nothing else, and I love being on set, and I love acting and breaking down a character, but then I still love coming home and spending time with my friends and my family.
Yeah, well, that's because they keep it, because
they keep you
they
grounded.
keep you real.
Yeah,
they keep it real.
Do you
I think so, yeah.
Do you have any weird acting rituals that you do?
Oh yeah, like warm ups. Like
They don't have to be weird, but
do you sit in a chair when you get to the rehearsal room by yourself? No, I have actors that would have to get to the theater a half hour before call time because they want to do their they want to get their vocal. Do you do anything like that?
I like to get there early just to kind of get into the mindset. But.
So what do you do, Lee?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because especially I think in the theater, a lot of my theater actor friends are very big on the voice and movement and stuff.
Yes.
Doing their roll downs and their and all their stuff.
I know that reminds me of Lee. I went to Lee Strasberg for a while. I went for about a year, and I studied that, and it was a lot of like, I swear it was like a 90-minute class, and for the first hour we just sat in a chair and moved our arms. I was like, what is going on?
And the best is when you don't do it, and you're doing a show, and you're doing your own little warm up, and that person's walking around the stage doing, and you're just kind of look at them going, okay,
I know,
whatever.
but it's their thing. So do you don't do, so yeah, I agree. I think that's more of a theater thing as opposed to being on set.
I mean, I have seen it on set too.
Have you?
No, look, I am a guy who likes to get there early. I like to be there early just so then I can focus on the task at hand. But I don't tend to do any of that stuff. It varies from role to role or what we're shooting that day. But yeah, I'll usually just sit in my trailer and, like, let's say it's like an emotionally heavy scene about a certain thing, then I'll probably sort of think a lot about instances in my life that have evoked that feeling or whatever, and kind of just start building the circumstances in my head. So when we go to set or when we cut rolling, I already have kind of a platform to start working from.
Yeah.
Or maybe I just sit there and listen to songs that evoke certain feelings, or I might journal a bit, or I might just read. So I definitely do prep work, but I think it's more kind of just quiet, sit by myself and think prep work.
Yeah.
So are you the type of actor, like when you're on set, like, so for Man High Castle, like, do they have to refer to you as Sergeant Yoshida, or can they be like, hey, Lee? Because some actors are like, they're like, I am this person
it's
for when
interesting
I'm
how
here.
you mentioned Philip Seymour Hoffman and Heath Ledger, because I think they were very much they were method actors. They were very much into being that character while they were
Yeah. So
on a
do you do
project.
that, or can you be like Lee, like cut, you're back to Lee, and then you can get right back into it? Are you? I mean, I know you're in that intention, that whole, that day you are prepared to totally be that character. But do you stay in character the whole time, or do you break?
No, I break.
Do you work with that? I mean, have you worked with an actor? I'm not even because everyone. Listen, I don't judge acting because whatever gets the job done, it's different for everyone. That's why it's art.
So true.
That's why it's art. So it's, if people want to do their voice and stuff and their yoga, I'm fine. That's just not my thing. But have you worked with an actor like that they didn't want, or they didn't want to be bothered? Because sometimes in the theater, like, I don't really like to converse too much if the show is running. I kind of want to stay focused. Mostly because I don't want to be talking about, something that happened when I'm, there for the 2 hours. Yeah, like, have you worked with someone that's like, I'm only, Crowley for while I'm here?
No,
okay.
I haven't had to experience that yet. But yeah, it is that balance, right? Because you do like make a little, you might joke around or talk a little bit about other things, but at the same time, yeah, if you're about to shoot a scene where, Joel's going to be crying over your dead body, I don't want to be talking to him about the sandwich I ate, for lunch, because he's trying to do his thing. So I think, it's like any workplace, right? You can kind of assess your colleagues and be like, now is the time for jokes, and I see you're busy right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So now, now it's time for work.
That's funny you say that, though, because I've done shows. I mean, they weren't dramas. It would be a comedy, and we would be on stage, and it would be like, so what are we having for dinner later?
Well, but that's like if you were like background.
Oh, totally.
But you're not going to be like in like a heavy play. I'm always afraid. Do you ever have this fear that you don't know your lines? Because what I do is I memorize my lines to the point where I don't remember them anymore, just so like the cue line will trigger the line for me, and it won't come out so robotic. But now you're in a play, which is different from, being on TV or a movie. Like, I'll remember this last play I did. Every night before we went on stage, I would look at my leading man. I'm like, I don't remember my lines. He's like, you know your lines.
Yeah.
He's like, I promise you know your lines. I'm like, I swear. I'm like, I can't. He was like, Lauren, you know them once you get on stage. But do you have that fear doing theater? Do you ever have that, like, I don't know my lines? Or are you able to totally erase the audience and just be in that moment and know that the lines will come?
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky with lines. My memory, to date, God, knock on wood, knock on all the wood, has been good. And maybe that's kind of law school and that as well. So yeah, I'm usually okay with lines. Yeah.
And how does it work?
But I know a lot of really.
I was gonna say, how does it work
please
with?
go, Danny.
Oh, sorry about that. How does it work with on set then? So let's say an actor does forget a line. Is it just like, okay, I need to
you cut,
I need to get that line, or I need to? What do they do?
No, you don't necessarily cut.
No, you keep on going and see what happens.
Yeah, well, look, I think the yeah, a lot of the times the better film and TV actors do the kind of stage thing, right, where you just stay in it and try to work it out. And a lot of times you find moments and you find magic, and then you'll try to repeat that on a take. But usually you can just call a line, and then they'll just edit around it, right? So yeah, if you drop a line, you'll try to get it back, and if you really can't, you just call line, and the script supervisor will feed it to you, and then you just take a second, and then just pick it up from that line.
Actually, that's true, because a couple of the web series that I've worked on, we don't always, even like when you're done with the take, you don't always cut, because they'll be like, are we still rolling? We're still rolling. Okay, we're going to do the scene again. So we don't have to mark it again, which was interesting for me because I'm theatrically trained. So I've just kind of crossed over into film and TV. So yeah, sometimes they'll just, you'll just still roll. Like he said, they'll just edit. Because I just did like an industrial, and I was like, this is going to be, oh my God, how, and it came out pretty good. Like they really edited around all the line. Like I didn't think it was going to happen, and I mean it's an industrial; it's nothing exciting, but
the power of editing.
Oh no, it's all
But it is.
I know too on a lot of comedies you work on. They'll have the writer on set, and you might deliver the punchline, and then they'll just be like, oh, say this instead, and then you say that, and like they'll just give you 10 variations of the joke, and they don't cut between, and you just keep resetting that one line. So, and then they just edit around it, but. Again, kudos to a lot of comedy actors because that's hard, right?
Yeah.
To just keep it fresh and be on it and not have all the build up to get to that line. Just keep delivering it. And
that is true. Now, have you ever performed in front of a live studio audience? Been in like a sitcom situation where they're right there in front of you?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
So is that a goal? Do you think, or do you prefer the dramas? I don't watch a lot of sitcom TV. I really don't. It's so funny. I really watch Man the High Castle. I don't really watch. I don't think any situational comedies.
Oh really? Well, I watch like Modern Family.
No, I don't watch any of that stuff. I watch like I said, like these longer dramas. Where if it's a comedy, it's definitely not.
But you know what's? I watch Modern Family, and it's not filmed in front of an audience.
No, I was going to say that's not filmed in front of live. So I'm sorry. I'm like we're having a conversation over here, Lee, about. So
no, that's okay.
Is that something you would want to do, or not really? That's not really where you see yourself.
Look, again, I think. I'm always looking to challenge myself and do new things. So, yeah, look, I want to try everything. And I think doing all these things, can only help you and make you better just as an actor in general. But I mean, I lean more towards dramas for sure. Yeah. But if someone came and pitched me a really good sitcom, I'd be there in a heartbeat. It's all about character and story, right?
Absolutely.
They're the two key things.
So here's another heavy hitter. Where do you see your career in 10 years?
Oh yeah, that's what we love that question. Yeah, or 5. Let's say
or even 5.
You can say 5. If 10's too.
Where do you see your career in the future?
Yes.
There you go.
Hopefully, I'm still getting to do this because you never know, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Look, hopefully I'll be, I'll have a show like obviously, I was 2 years on High Castle and part of the cast, but a bigger part of the cast. Like I hopefully I'll be doing more of like the John Smith role as opposed to the Yoshida role in 5 years. But that would be nice. But who knows? Maybe I'll be out of work in 5 years.
Oh no, I hope not. Maybe in 5 years we'll be in LA or New York.
Well,
what do you think?
That'd be nice.
New York. Have you ever been to New York?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Have you been to NYC?
I have, and I love it.
Isn't it great?
I have, yeah.
I love it.
Do you have a preference, New York or LA, if you had to pick?
I like New York more, just as like
too.
a city, and I would rather live there 100%. But I think you have to be in LA for film and TV.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, they do film. I mean, it's funny because where the studios, we're about 30 minutes out of New York, and I love going to the city. But like in Fairfield, New Jersey, New Jersey, we have a lot of buildings where there's a lot of sound stages around here.
Sure.
Because sound stages are really big because of these shows, like on Amazon and Netflix. So many people are making TV shows and movies. I mean, there's so much television out there and web series. I don't even think I could even process how much is really out there.
Right. Well, I mean, and
Oh,
just
it's
as
crazy.
Leah's
It's
mentioned,
crazy, right?
and just Canada. I mean, what they're filming in Vancouver and everything. I
Yeah,
think
because
it's
you know
just-
what? I watch Orphan Black, and I think they film that in Vancouver too, don't they? Do they film that in Vancouver?
Toronto.
Toronto,
but Canada,
okay.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's another one of my favorite shows. But so New Jersey, I didn't realize that because I have a friend that works in the industry, and he said we were driving from a shoot. He said all these buildings all have sound stages in them. I'm like, really? And I was like, that's what I should do is own a soundstage.
Yeah.
people can film.
It would be.
There you go.
Now, I know you love acting, Lee, but have you ever been interested in directing or maybe producing? Like, do you feel like, because like we always talk about in theater, we start out as actors and sometimes we evolve to directors and then producers. It's kind of not everyone does that. Some people do remain an actor, but some people, they find their different calling. Have you ever had any interest in being a director or a producer? Or do you strictly like, no, I really enjoy becoming another person, essentially?
No. Yeah. Look, I think I love acting the most, definitely. But no, cause I guess, again, coming, at the whole industry from a film studies point of view, being a director or a producer would also interest me a lot because, yeah, look, weirdly, I just love the whole medium. Like, I like talking about shot composition and I like talking about, the aesthetic and everything. So, yeah, definitely down the road, it would be something I would be interested in exploring for sure.
I'm also wondering too. I notice with a lot of actors now, and even SAG-AFTRA encourages you with these web series to go out and create your own work.
Right.
And I'm wondering too, for you as an actor, if you notice there isn't roles for me out there, or I'm not seeing the type of work that I should be doing. If then would you create, and step into an actor director type role or an actor producer kind of thing?
Like a passion project.
Yeah. That's another good question. It has the positive, you're right, in that if you don't see the roles that you want, then you can kind of write it for yourself, and then you can do it, which is great. The thing that I'm hesitant about that is, I like taking a role that someone else has written because the challenge is then kind of trying to make that work and trying to marry their vision with your vision, and you're really having to push yourself to find who that is. If you write the role for yourself, you can be a little bit lazier because you've done it all, right? And there's not a lot of challenges to what you've written or what you're bringing to the role. So it's a two-edged sword.
Yeah, I like that. It's kind of like when a playwright directs their play.
Right. Yeah, because they're not seeing another person's vision with it.
Right.
I agree.
Yep.
I've worked with playwrights who they like to direct their own work, and my thought is you're so attached to it, you're so married to it that you can't see the forest through the trees, and you need to see it someone else's eyes, because that's how that's where the critique comes from. That's why I'm sure I don't know if it's the same in film, but with theater, you don't just write a play and it goes on Broadway. It goes through so many workshops and readings and investor readings and rewrites, and it could take a really long time because you need to see what other people are seeing, because like I said, when you're so close to it, it's like anything, it's impossible it's hard to criticize your own work anyway,
right?
So you're not gonna
and I feel bad for the other actors, like if I'm the playwright directing it, or even the actor who directed it, and it's like, well, this is how I see the actor. A director's going to do that no matter what.
Right.
But it's like, I'm the playwright. This is how I wrote it. This is how you have to be. It's almost like, I feel like the creativity for the actors involved is almost...
Right. Stifled.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And look, I've worked with directors in the past who like essentially they view the actors as like a meat puppet. It's like, just come in and say it exactly how I imagine that we would say it.
Right.
But I think, the best things are born out of compromise and conflict, because obviously the director and the playwright have this vision for the overarching story that the actor doesn't have. The actor's so focused on the character. But then the actor has the nuances and details of the character that they don't. So inevitably if you can reach that middle ground through collaboration, I think it makes the whole thing stronger.
Yeah. It's ultimately, it's a collaboration. It really between all parties. And when you can collaborate, but there has to be conflict. I like that you brought that up, because without conflict, it's nothing.
Yeah.
you know what
It's
I
the
mean?
essence of drama, right?
Yeah, I mean, you need the conflict, and even if it happens on set or in the rehearsal room, it's, you know, I always tell my students the play's the thing. It's the most important
Sure,
thing is telling
absolutely.
the story, you know, and being. I think who said it during the Oscars? The one actor who won, and he said it's our job to be truthful to the characters that the playwright or the author has written. That's what our job is as actors, is to tell the story
Absolutely.
and you know, for
Yeah.
truth. I could talk to you forever.
I know. This
This
is really fun.
I know. This is a great interview. So, Lee, is there anything
No,
else?
it's been a lot of fun.
I know. Danny, any more last minute gotcha questions?
Well,
for
the only thing I was
Lee?
going to ask was, you mentioned your family and your friends, and you love to spend time with them, and I just wanted to know, what are other things that you like to do
Oh, yeah,
aside
some
from
hobbies.
being an artist? What do you like to do? What do you like to do?
Do you like to bowl?
To de-stress?
Like
Do
to
you
go
like to bowl?
bowling. Listen.
The truth, I'm horrible. I'm horribly uncoordinated. So, yeah. Look, I read a lot. I play video games, and then I really like the gym. Actually, I like just going and working out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good. That's
kind of boring, to be honest.
No, because you know what, you're focused on what you want, and your job satisfies you enough that you don't need a
Yeah.
lot of hobbies. That's what that means.
Yeah, well, thank you for the
You've made a
positive
life.
spin.
Yes,
I'm going to use that now.
You
There you
should.
go, there you
You've
go.
made the life that you wanted. There's this great Elvis Costello's quote, whether he said it or not, who knows, where he was like, basically, I've wound up with this life where I could do whatever the F I want. So that's kind of what you are creating for yourself, right? Create a life where you don't want to have hobbies because you enjoy every second. And it seems like that's what you're doing. So kudos to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you for calling
Yes.
in to Home
No,
Run
this
Radio.
was awesome.
Yeah, and I recorded it. Please pray to God that I recorded it right. I do the tech for the show too, and it's definitely not my not my strength. So I'm,
And this is
this
is also our first
messenger,
messenger
but it sounded
interview
great.
too. It sounds really great.
Terrific. So, Lee, thank you so much for calling in, and we'll definitely keep in touch. I'm glad we were finally able to coordinate this because I think it's been like 6 months in the running, but you've been busy.
It has, and I'm sorry about that.
No,
so
no,
thank
no.
you for your patience.
No, please. I get it. And when the time is right, it always works out. That's what I say.
Absolutely, and just all the best, to all your future projects,
I
and we'll
know.
definitely be looking out
Thank
for
you.
you, and we're going to share more information about you on our Facebook page as well. So
Yeah,
thank you.
and I look
thank
forward to
you.
see what you're doing next. Thank you so much for calling in today.
No, thanks for having us, and yeah, please keep in touch. We'll talk. So.
We'll definitely talk. Yeah, we'll talk soon. All right.
All right.
All right.
Have a good one.
You
Thanks
too.
so
All right.
much.
Bye,
Bye.
Lee.
Bye.
Oh my
All
God, that
right.
was such a great. I could have honestly. I didn't even bring up the accent, but
I like how there was one moment for those of you who are listening, and you can't see our faces, but he mentioned, he'll just hang out in his trailer and wait. And,
I
and
know,
Lauren looks at me and she's like, "It's trailer."
I'm like, I was like trailer. I love it. No, I love it. And you know what? Good.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. I mean, like I said,
He's a smart man.
Yeah.
And
smart, and I'll even say a smart actor.
smart
man,
smart
smart
actor,
actor.
smart business man. You
Yeah.
know, he knows it's a business and he knows how to work the business, and that's super important because it's a business, as we mentioned.
It really. I mean, it's a business above, and
right.
it's. I mean, it's.
And we know we've both been in front, on stage, and behind the scenes, and it doesn't always come down to talent and who does the best part. It's a business.
It is a business.
So that was really, really cool.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, that really was.
I'm like
so.
smiling. Can you see when I'm smiling?
Well, I can see.
I mean,
yeah,
you can see me.
sit
I mean,
next
can
to
you hear when I'm smiling if you're listening?
Can you hear?
Can you hear? So definitely check out Man in the High Castle.
Yeah,
because
Amazon. It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. It's a great show.
I gotta say, I am loving these streaming outlets.
I know.
They are, and he said it. They don't really have like advertisement to deal with. I think it's why HBO has always been pushing the envelope.
Absolutely.
And with them,
Absolutely.
like I said, I'm watching Netflix right now, and it's like every day I hear about a new show on either Netflix or Amazon or Hulu or something, and it's like, it's kind of like exciting, and at the same token, it's like good. show those networks what we want to watch. What's
yeah,
some good
like
television.
yeah, like they're not going to tell us what what we have to watch. And there's great programming. And like Lee mentioned, that Vancouver is, what do you say? It's like Hollywood.
It's like North Hollywood.
North Hollywood. A lot of this,
and I
like,
guess Toronto is like North New York City.
yeah,
if you think
because
about it.
it is because I love. I mean, a lot of the shows I watch. I'll tell you, one of my favorite shows of all time. It was filmed in Canada. Was Degrassi.
I knew you were going to say that.
Stop it! Don't make fun of
Drake.
me. I know.
Drake in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but remember, I was watching Degrassi Junior High when Joey Jeremiah and Snake were kids. Now they ended up growing up to becoming parents of I can't remember who Joey Jeremiah, but they actually came to our middle school.
Oh, funny.
And the thing with Degrassi and like the kids from Degrassi Street, Degrassi High, Degrassi Junior High.
I didn't watch Degrassi.
No, you should, honestly. And I actually, when I tell you I watched Degrassi, I'm talking like 2 years ago. It was like, no, the show was the first show to touch on any type of issue.
Yeah, you're right.
It dealt with teen pregnancy. It dealt with drugs. I mean, no other show at that time was doing it. So yeah, Canada, like those shows, they will push the envelope. Where I feel like over here we're a little bit more censored.
We're just it's got to be tied up in an educational bow.
Yeah. So
no,
over
screw
there,
that.
they're like they keep it real.
They really do.
So Degrassi is a great show, but yeah, that's filmed in Canada.
I'm kind of glad that we weren't live on Facebook because
Yeah.
not that I don't want people to see us, but all of a sudden my allergies are bothering me, and I'm like
I know,
rubbing my eyes, and I'm like
you
itchy.
can't. As soon as you touch your eye, though, then it gets itchy.
It does.
You have to get the allergy eye drops.
Wait, I should do that? What you're
No,
doing?
like if you touch your eye, even if it's not itchy, it's going to start to
right
be
now
itchy.
it's like
You have
watery.
to get you got to get that. I put eye drops in my eyes every morning.
But
I'm probably
don't
addicted to
you
them.
notice too? Like I love doing the Facebook Live, but when we don't do it, like you and I were just like, just
yeah.
kind of hanging out.
Yeah, we feel like we're on TV when we're on
TV.
Facebook Live.
And we make faces sometimes, and
We do. We give each other like looks, looks from whatever. So I hope that
the recording went well, so we could share that again.
I know I'm excited. I'm still recording.
Oh yeah, you are still recording.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to talk to him too much about Supernatural, but how much fun to play a demon.
And Supernatural's been on for 13 seasons because I remember. I don't know if he's still on the show, but one of the main characters was on Days of Our Lives.
No, they're all still on.
Jensen Ackles or something like that.
I think so. I don't watch that show frequently.
CW.
It's a CW show.
Yeah,
it's a CW show. No, but it's so cool to be able to play a fictional. Not that Sergeant Yoshida's not fictional, but to be like a fantasy creature.
Well, yeah, and it's like he mentioned one of his roles that he would love to play as a villain.
Yeah,
like the comic villain, and I'm like, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to?
Well, the show I'm doing now,
that?
I'm working on A Man of No Importance. I'm just doing some staging, and I'm dealing with wigs and stuff like that, helping out.
Dealing with
a
wigs.
friend. I am dealing with wigs and hair and makeup and some tap dancing. The one actor.
That's interesting. So how are you listening to Playbill? Wigs and tap dancing.
I don't think I'm listed at all, but it's okay. I'm literally just helping because I want the show to go off without a hitch, and it's one of my favorite
You're just being
musicals.
a nice person.
Yes, I'm giving myself. It's called A Man of No Importance, and it's a really charming.
It's a musical?
It's a
I
musical.
thought it was a play. I don't know.
No, it's a well, they're doing a play.
Who wrote the version? I mean, who wrote the music?
It's Aarons and Flaherty.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So it's the one I was talking to the one actor, and he has it's a supporting role, and I was just telling him how I think he's really good, and he actually teaches acting at an acting high school in Brooklyn, and he said I always play the nice guy, so it's fun that I get to play. He plays like a really not nice character in the piece, and he does a really nice job. He's like, this is fun for me because I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm playing someone that's not that I normally get to play. He always gets to play the nice guy. And that's what I love about acting. And it's funny because we've had some guests that prefer to be themselves. They don't like being other people. And then we've had some guests that really enjoy diving into someone else's shoes. I think it's fun to be someone else.
Oh, I love being someone else.
And I know what my type is too. I know what my strengths are. And I know, like I'll never be cast as Laura in the Glass Menagerie. That she's just not my type. Not that I couldn't do it. I'd have to work very hard, but I just know that that's not. But my type may be Amanda because I think I have a stronger, personality. But like, what are some roles that you
Well,
would like to
it's-
play, but
it's
you know that
funny.
it's not?
I mean, it's
you?
funny that you bring that up though, because like I'm normally doing the comedic role,
Right,
Which is
right.
what it's what I do, and I know that I do well,
Right.
But recently, with our new play reading festival, I was part of one of the readings that Nicole directed, Nicole Rizzo, and I played a dad, a war veteran, and he's in a wheelchair.
Oh,
And
see?
he's got PTSD too, and so him and his son just are not, they clash a lot, and so it was a dramatic role. And I remember some people came up to me after and they were like, "You did great." They were like, "I was nice seeing you in that like dramatic role."
Yeah, it was like a different.
And I was like, "Well, thanks." It's nice to play those characters, and it's also nice to showcase that you can do other stuff. And it's like, because
Yeah.
sometimes you do get
Type-
you
yeah, you get
typecast.
pigeonholed.
You get pigeonholed, and it's so
Well,
funny
look
because
at,
comedic stuff is hard.
Oh, it is. Comedy's hard.
Comedic actors that can do dramatic, look at like Robin Williams.
I know. God
You know,
rest
I
his
mean, like
soul,
how
but-
incredible he was.
Yeah.
Comedy just came to him, but when he could do those dramatic roles.
Well, it's all about the timing.
But going back to you about some roles that I would love to play, I mean, since I'm in the theater world, I always think of just like musicals that
musical
that I would
theater.
like to be a part of. I think, and I mean, a lot of them are more. I don't really have like a specific role, but I tend to want to play, like the villain types or like the I mean, I remember in college we did Much Ado About Nothing, and I was Don John, the asshole
yes.
villain.
Oh,
And we said in the 1920s.
Oh, fun.
And I had my hair was slicked back, and I was wearing like a bomber jacket, and I had so much fun. And I wasn't. I'm not like method is not really like my style. I'm one of those. I like to just turn it off.
Right.
But backstage, I would kind of play the character a little
Yeah.
bit with everybody.
Well, when you're young, it's like,
And- Yeah, in college. So, and I loved being the villain.
Yeah.
And I've played villains before, and I always say that's the best fun because it's not who I am.
Yeah.
And I get to play.
But now,
something-
now here's my thing. Are you afraid? Because, we both deal with, young actors because we're both teaching artists. And when, the actor has a hard time letting go. And I think, if I'm directing a romantic scene, even if they're holding hands, I mean, for the most part, they have a hard time doing that. And sometimes I think it's because, obviously they're kids, or like cooties, or they're afraid that the other person might think that they really like they're afraid to go there.
Yeah.
Do you have that fear on stage, or do you just go there?
As an actor?
As an
Do I
actor.
have that fear? I would
or
have
did
more,
you? I'll say I know you don't now. Did you have that
no,
fear?
I mean I haven't done much of like those type of characters. I've always
Right.
been the sidekick or like the comedic relief.
Right.
But if I when I was in those type of roles, I had more fear of the other person being uncomfortable.
Oh, interesting.
So it's
Okay.
not so much I'm uncomfortable, it's more
Yeah.
like I hope they're okay and
Right.
they're comfortable with it. But we're both outgoing, friendly people.
Right.
So like when I do a new show, I connect with people like that.
Oh,
I have
yeah,
no
me
problem.
too.
Unless they're just
Not nice. Some
They're not nice
people are
about it.
closed off.
So I have no problem connecting with my scene partner and establishing a relationship. So I never worry about that. But if I had to be like intimate or have like an intimate scene, yeah, I would be more concerned about them being comfortable. If I had to do like a sex scene or something like in a movie, I think I would be uncomfortable.
I always am like, I can do it, and then I'm
But
like,
isn't that what makes
could
it
I do it?
exciting and makes you and keeps you
Well, it keeps it
focused
real.
and keeps it real when you're like uncomfortable, and it's like when you worry about forgetting your lines.
like I always thought I never knew my lines.
But
Then he would say the line, and then all
it would just
that I
come
was
out.
like that, and I'd be
Well,
talking.
it's like I'm always nervous before a show,
yeah,
and once I go on stage, then it kind of goes away.
yeah. You just kind of like become.
When I'm not nervous is when I worry, because then I'm like,
Right.
oh my god.
Why-
That's when you're too relaxed, and I feel
right.
like that's when you.
Well, you
forget
always
your
have to
lines.
have like your wits about you.
Yeah.
For sure. Because if
Totally.
you get, you can't get so lost when you don't know what's going on around you, but you can't be so aware that you become like a robot. So there's like, we're kind of balancing that fine
Yeah.
line, and it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy at all. So I'm trying to think if there's a role that I would like love to play. And I don't know. I'm at this, I feel like I'm getting to this age where maybe some of the roles I wanted to play are too young. Like I've always wanted to be Seidel, believe it or not, in Fiddler on the Roof. My mom played Seidel 2 times. And I kind of always was like, I have to play Seidel, but clearly I'm past my prime for Seidel. I'd be more cast as Yenta or Golda.
Unless it's some kind of interesting production.
Exactly, where it was a little bit different. I would love to play Blanche Dubois.
Yeah.
I think she's a real complex character, and there's a lot going on in her head. I do enjoy Tennessee Williams. I also love Arthur Miller. So I always wanted to play Abigail Williams because she's another one that's. And is she evil or is she just a jaded kid? Like that's the thing. Again, like Lee was saying, it's not always so black and white.
Sure. Well, I think for me too, it's like a lot of them are like older characters. Like you said, Arthur Miller, and I'm like, ooh, Death of a Salesman.
Yes, great play.
But it's like and to
And,
play.
and the thing with, I'm sorry, I interrupted you with Death with the thing that I love about Arthur Miller is his play. I don't know how some of these playwrights do it. Are timeless. You could do Death of a Salesman now. You can do it colorblind cast.
Yeah.
I mean, his plays you can just take and you can do whatever
totally.
you need to do. That's he's definitely one of my favorite playwrights.
Yeah. I always wanted to do Les Mis, but I would love to be Javert. I would love to be like the villain character.
Yes.
Even though if I was casting myself, I would fall into Monsieur Thénardier.
I would be Thénardier too.
I would fall into the Master of the House role. But I would love to play Javert.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
At last we
see
see each other.
I would love to do Hairspray, and I think Edna.
Of
but
course.
that's but again, it's I need to be older for it.
Yeah, you're because you're kind of like in that middle.
I'm in that middle thing right now
for the show.
I always, a show that I've never done that I think would be fun is Guys and Dolls, and I would love to be Nicely Johnson and do Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat.
I did always want to do Adelaide.
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh, you'd be a good Adelaide.
A bushel and a peck and a hug around the neck.
And there
I could do it, right?
She's auditioning.
I'm auditioning. A hug around the neck and a barrel and a squeeze. A barrel, is that it? A barrel and a squeeze, and I'm talking in my sleep about. My mom used to sing me that song when I was a little kid. She'd sing, "I love you." A bushel and a peck. So Adelaide.
I would also love to be in Hamilton.
Of course.
Who would you want to be in Hamilton?
I definitely connect more with Angelica. I think I'm a strong personality, but I love, not that I could sing Burn, but I do love the Eliza track. Yeah. But I'm thinking probably I would be cast as Angelica. I think that's probably my type. I don't think I'm not that ingenue. I'm not. And that's okay. I've accepted that.
Yeah.
I've accepted that. And I'm fine with it.
I would love to be Aaron Burr. I mean, once again playing, but I don't know. I mean, what about Thomas Jefferson or like Marquis Lafayette? Well, it's the same person.
I love George Washington.
Yeah.
Here comes the general. So, and Chris Jackson, didn't he announce the Tonys with Jane Krakowski?
He did, Chris Jackson.
So, George, I'll never forget when I came in, because I actually am fascinated by the real George Washington. I mean, the man, I think he fought he was 40 years in the military. Amazing how many battles he went to, and he was such a big guy. I mean, physically, his personality was so big, but he was big.
Tall.
He was almost 7 feet tall, and I'm very fascinated by him, and he just almost seems like a superhuman. And I'll never forget. I don't know if you remember this, Danny, when we came to the studio, and I was saying how I have a crush on George Washington. You're like Chris Jackson. I was like, no, the real guy, the real George Washington. It's amazing. It's our country's history is amazing.
See, but if I was in Hamilton, I would be cast as King George
or Lafayette. You don't think Lafayette? I think you could do Lafayette.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
I can see you.
I got to rap really.
Who
fast,
would you think
though.
me though? Would you think Angelica, right?
Peggy.
Yeah, and Peggy
and Margaret.
Oh yeah,
Reynolds.
because she's definitely because she does the bullet role. Any part is great. Now I never saw this show. What's the deal with the bullet? There's a character that plays the bullet.
In Hamilton?
In Hamilton, there's an actress that actually
Is it like a dance?
I think it's like a dance role. Where I still haven't seen the show yet.
I haven't either. But you want to know something? There's all these clips on YouTube of it.
So now you feel like you've seen it.
And I've been watching it, and I'm just fascinated by how there's not a set. It's really just them singing and those dancers are creating everything.
And how cool that choreographer was at the Paper Mill Playhouse, and
I saw his show,
I know.
Bandstand. Yeah,
I'm gonna try and go
because
I have some friends in it.
Yeah, I've been kind of obsessed with In the Heights.
Oh, so that's what happens.
I listen to Pandora, and you can type in what you want to hear. So I type in Hamilton, and then they play other music that's similar in style. So they play a lot of like Something Rotten, Book of Mormon, In the Heights. So they've been playing a lot of In the Heights, and I wasn't too familiar with In the Heights. I mean, I know it, but I wasn't too familiar with the music, and I'm like obsessed.
Really, it's
and
like
I think
your thing.
I love Hamilton, but I love In the Heights music, and I'm like, oh, I want to see a production of it.
No, it's great. In the Heights is great.
You know,
did you like the music to Moana? Because Lin-Manuel did that.
And you know what? They play Moana too.
Yeah,
I love that.
I've been standing at the edge of the wall. And how awesome is The Rock?
I know. But have you heard the demo of Lin singing the Rock song?
No, is it better? Because Lynn's not like, I don't think he's. I don't consider him a singer. I consider him an actor who can sing, but I would never think that Lin-Manuel Miranda is a singer. Not that I think he sounds bad.
No, I agree.
He's a great storyteller, though.
He is a great storyteller.
That's why we like him.
He's a great rapper too.
Right.
He can rap. The mixtape. There's that one song.
Oh yeah,
Oh God. Oh God, I'm trying to think of how. It's with all the rappers, and he sings with them. Oh gosh, which one is it? It's
I don't remember. Can you?
He does like the hook for it. I'm gonna bring it up.
Bring it up.
I'm gonna bring it up on Spotify. But there's this one song on In the Heights that I love, and it's Sunrise. Do you know the Sunrise song?
No,
it's weird,
maybe.
and Chris Jackson is in it.
I do have the mixtape.
Chris Jackson's in it, and he this is In the Heights though. She's teaching him Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna play it for you. I'm gonna play it for you. And I'm loading my Spotify.
Do you need me to put the do you want
I need your plug.
You need my plug. That's what he said.
If I had $1 for every time he said I need your plug.
Here we go. All right. Oh, it's in my lap.
Give me your plug. Your plug is in your lap.
My plug is in my lap. So and then we need to let everyone know what's happening in New Jersey.
In J-Town.
Yes.
J-Town.
Jersey's J-Town. Jersey Theater. J-Town.
In the J State.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the NJ State. Well, all right, I'll just stop. Oh my God, the internet is slow. Slow internet.
Slow.
Slow. So yeah, I'm excited for the Tonys, but how do you feel about Kevin Spacey hosting?
You know, I'm like, you know what? I hate to say it, but it almost feels like they couldn't find. I mean, they couldn't find anyone. But when do they start looking? Did they just start looking yesterday?
No,
I mean, come on.
No. He said that he was like the 15th choice.
Yeah, I mean,
And my whole thing is when you have, why couldn't they get? I don't know. Bette Midler she can host.
I don't know.
They couldn't get a bunch. Why do they even need a host? Why couldn't they do 1 year without a host and just have like a big opening number?
And have I think you need someone to.
But there's other shows that have done that.
I guess you could have like different. You could have different.
I mean, when you have people like Bette Midler and.
Yeah. I mean, you have like these big
Sally Fields
theater actors,
and Kate Blanchett, and I mean, like they're not hosty kind of people. But did you hear that they're already looking for her replacement, Hello Dolly's? Because she's only in it for a year. She's only in it for a year. So they're already looking for her replacement, and you know what the rumor mill?
Oh, who is it?
Dolly Parton. Yeah.
That's because they want to do a play on the word Dolly.
But you know what? I actually think she would be great. She's a great little actress.
You know what? And that's a part. The funny thing is, because I'm thinking, I mean, obviously Bette Midler can sing, but Hello Dolly to me is not a singing. You know, it's not a role where you have to be a singer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you disagree?
No.
I mean, it helps. But you have to be a good actor.
Well, but I think Dolly can do it.
Oh,
yeah. There's that eating scene that they say is like incredible, and I can see Dolly Parton with her.
I know with her. But God, how old is she now? Is she like in her 60s or 70s?
I don't know.
How old is Dolly Parton? Let me know if you know.
Okay, where is it? All right, so I have the mixtape up. Where is it? Valley Forge. No, that's not it. Wait for it. Immigrants.
You finding it? We're looking for our
song. Wrote My Way Out. I wrote my way out.
Yes.
I'm gonna play it.
You gonna play? I gotta put the thing.
I wrote my way out. When the world turned its back on me, I was up against the wall. I
had no foundation, no friends or no family to catch my fall. Running on empty, was nothing left in me but doubt. I picked up a pen and I wrote my way out.
I picked up the pen like Hamilton, street analyst. Now I write words and try to channel them. No political power, just lyrical power. Sitting on a crate on the corner, sipping for hours. Scheming on a come up, from evening to sun up. My man awaiting trial, misdemeanors were younger. Courtroom prejudice, insufficient evidence. Jailhouse lawyers, these images still relevant. Flickering light inside my project hall. Sickening, the mice crawl all night long. In 87 Reaganism, many pages I've written on. Writing songs about rights and wrongs and Bell's bonds. Master bedroom, bigger than the crib that I was raised at. I'm the architect like I wrote the code, the Waze app. I'm driven, Black Elohim from the streets of Queens. The definition of what it was written means. Know what I mean?
I wrote my way out.
When the world turned its back on me, I was up against the wall. I had no foundation, no friends and no family to catch my fall. Running on empty, there was nothing left in me but doubt. I picked up a pen and I wrote my way out.
I really wrote my way up out of 6E. Developed relationships with fiends, I know they miss me. Before the Metro cars, it was tokens, I did the 10 speed. Never had wrote a rhyme in my life. What was a 16? At 16, arrested in housing, trip to the mountains, came right back. Trapping off couches, watching for mouses. Only tools we was pros with. Had his spot smoke lit. The haters just confusion. Pay attention how them jokes switch. Theodora was my favorite. The Mark Buchanan's mama couldn't afford them. I learned everything on the border. That's a big 8. Clico parties with private dancers with no mixtape. Bumblebee tuna, now we could get steak. I persevered. Composition, I kept it close. Competition near. I'm a Spartan without the spear. 300 rhymes. It was written before I wrote it. Opportunity knocking, might miss it. That window closing. This poetry in motion. I'm a poet.
I wrote my way out.
When the world turned its back on me, I was up against the wall. I had no foundation, no friends or no family to catch my fall. Running on empty, there was nothing left in me but doubt. I picked up a pen and I wrote my way out.
High speed dubbing these rhymes in my dual cassette deck. Running out of time like I'm Jonathan Lawson's rent check. My mind is where the wild things are. Maurice Sendak. In withdrawal, I want it all. Please give me that pen back. Y'all, I caught my first beating from the other kids when I was caught reading. Oh, you think you smart? Blah, start bleeding. The pops tried in vain to get me to fight back. Sister tapped my brain, said, psh, you'll get him right back. Oversensitive, defenseless, I made sense of it. My pencil in the lengths to which I'd go to learn my strengths and knock them senseless. These sentences are endless, so what if they leave me friendless?
Damn, you got no chill.
Fucking right, I'm relentless. I know Abuela's never really gonna win the lottery, so it's up to me to draw blood with this pen hidden artery. This Puerto Rican's brains are leaking through the speakers, and if he can be the shining beacon this side of the GWB and shine a light when it's gray out,
I wrote my way out.
Oh, I was born in the eye of the storm. No loving arms to keep me warm. This hurricane in my brain is the burden I bear. I can do without, I'm here. Cause I wrote my way out.
Picked up the pen like Hamilton.
I wrote my way out of the black, wrote my way out of the project.
Picked up the pen like Hamilton.
I wrote my way out of the book, wrote my way out of the book.
Picked up the pen like Hamilton.
I wrote my way out.
Really, I saw like a hole in the rap game. So if I wanted to put my little 2 cents in the game, then it would be from a different perspective. I thought that I would represent for my neighborhood and tell their story, be their voice in a way that nobody has done it. Tell the real story.
At Sam Adams, we found that the colors of summer have a certain hue, which you can almost hear. There's yellow.
That was really good.
Yeah, I love it. And I want to play one more number, and then we'll chat.
All right, we're going to do one more song
But
because
this is from In the Heights.
So we're kind of comparing like Lin-Manuel Miranda from Hamilton, but that was from Hamilton mixtape, to his earlier work in the Heights.
Yeah, and this is Sunrise, and it's between two characters, Chris Jackson, who plays George Washington in Hamilton, and Mandy Gonzalez. And she's like teaching him. He's been learning Spanish, and it's just like a sweet song, and it's melodic and just, I don't know.
So it's going to be totally different from what we just heard.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. All right. Ready?
And blue. These are the colors in one perfect summer ale. Sam Adams, Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Savor the flavor responsibly.
You're at Lowe's buying a new washer and dryer.
He does not
You're at
have
Lowe's buying a
Spotify
new washer and
Premium.
dryer
See what
because
happens
your kids
when
are
you don't have
growing.
Spotify Premium?
And because your kids are growing, their clothes are growing. But your old washer and dryer are not. Luckily, Lowe's has free local delivery on appliances $396 or more, plus a 30-day satisfaction guarantee on all new major appliances. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Guarantee based on refund and price match policies. More fees may apply. U.S. only. See store for details.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million. What color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on
we're
car
going to wait a minute and
Oh
see
my
what
gosh,
happens.
what is going on here?
You
with
don't have
these commercials?
Spotify Premium.
I'm sorry. I'm
Premium.
poor.
It's $10 a month.
I have Pandora.
Is that free?
Pandora. Yeah, it is. But there's commercials too. They have a premium.
Hey, Spotify users, life is a long and
Why is it not playing my song?
Stuck on the side of it?
Well, we got a chitty chat.
Hold on. Let me wait. Hold on.
See if
a
you can
second.
find somewhere else. Because I have no time for all
She's
these
got
commercials.
no time for all these commercials. Here we go. Is it in here? Sunrise.
Is it coming?
It's playing.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, there it is.
All right.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Are you ready to try again?
I think I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Esquina,
Corner,
tienda,
store,
bombilla.
light bulb.
You're sure?
I'm sure.
3 out of 3, you did alright.
Well, teach me a little more.
Calor,
Heat
anoche,
last night.
dolor.
Pain.
That's right. Llámame
Call me.
azul. Llámame.
Love me.
Perhaps I do.
Well, how do you say kiss me?
Bésame.
And how do you say hold me?
Abrázame. Al amanecer. At sunrise. Anything at all can happen just before the sunrise. Al amanecer.
Sunrise.
Sunrise.
Sigue andando el camino por toda su vida. Respira. I don't know
Yo no sé
what to do
qué hacer.
now that I've found
Ahora
you.
que te encontré,
What will he say
¿qué dirá?
when he sees me around you? So how do you say help me?
Ayúdame.
And how do you say promise me?
Promise me you'll stay beyond the sunrise. I don't care at all what people say beyond the sunrise. Promise me you'll stay.
How do you say kiss me?
Isn't it beautiful?
That was beautiful.
And you learned Spanish at the same time.
I did. I turned to Danny, and I was like, "Can you understand what they're saying?"
Yeah.
And you were,
what's
that's because Danny's Portuguese.
Besame? But what is besame? Kiss me.
Oh, is that what it
Besame.
means?
Yeah.
Besame?
Yeah.
That's in
Spanish.
Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
But wait,
so Chris Jackson.
Yeah.
He's
tell about the story. Like, what's it about?
Well, so in the Heights. It takes place up in Washington Heights, and it's essentially like about the community that lives up there. And then like one of the central themes is like the grandmother has like a lottery ticket, and she could possibly win $96,000. And it's like, what would you do if you had $96,000? So it's kind of like getting out of where they are and moving on to bigger and better things, but not losing where they came from and their roots.
Keeping their roots.
You know? So it's essentially it's like Lynn's story, you know?
Well, yeah, that's what he says. It's like his life story.
And, the grandmother's a big part of it. And you notice in the last song, Wrote My Way Out, I wrote my way out. It's like, did he write his way out of... and he mentions his grandmother, and I love how he has like those lines about Marie Sendek and Jonathan Larson, and because I feel like he's the Jonathan Larson of.
Well, he is. He definitely is of this generation.
Of this generation
of the 2000s, because
And I saw a video recently where Anthony Rapp. It was at BroadwayCon when they were there, the entire Hamilton cast, and Anthony Rapp talked about how his friend Jonathan Larson, dreamed of this of an opportunity to create work that will impact, and he said that Lynn is essentially doing that. I mean, it's like, who would ever think that a little show called Hamilton would be a phenomenon?
It is incredible. So we should talk a little bit about what's happening in Jersey, because there's some big stuff going on in New Jersey. But while you're looking that up, I got to mention my guy, Brendan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brendan's going to be, I say my guy, but...
Who is Brendan?
Brendan Fletcher.
For those who are listening and don't know.
He's a friend of mine, and we're working together, and I'm just helping him out. And he was on season 11 of
this
The
little
Voice.
show.
This little show called The Voice.
And
on
he
Team
worked
Adam.
with like this up and coming guy called Adam Levine.
And he was top 8. But he has some pretty great shows going on, and he's going to be at the Bitter End on May 23rd. It was supposed to be the 16th, and we had to postpone it. So a week later, 7 p.m., you can, my New York friends and even New Jersey friends, you should head on out to the Bitter End in New York. It's the oldest rock and roll club in New York. Be a fun show. But then he's here in New Jersey at the Mayo Performing Arts Center on June 12th.
Benefit, right?
For a benefit for the Leukemia Lymphoma Foundation. And it's run by Mary Doherty, who is the First Lady of Morristown.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great event. So that's your music fix.
Your music roundup.
Your Brendan Fletcher roundup. Yes, and now for the New Jersey Theater, what is going on, Danny Campos?
What is going on? So thank you, Lauren, so much. So I'm here in the NJ Theater. I don't know. I was pretending like we were like at a news station.
We're like on NPR.
Well, we're here live. So playing on our New Jersey stages, we have Tranquil at Luna Stage Company, playing through May 13th. Clever Little Lies by Joe DiPetro.
Yes, another Jersey
guy playing at Bickford Theater April 20th through May 7th. We should go see that. That's a good show.
And he has a show, Ernest Shackleton Loves Me, which is
I saw that.
You did.
I saw it at George Street.
Yeah. But now it's
off
in
Broadway.
York, yeah.
Great show.
Yep.
2-person musical. Things Being What They Are with Jason Zambretta, who's been on the show before.
At Dreamcatcher Rep.
Playing through May 7th. It's closing
with
this
Scott
weekend.
Carmichael?
Oh, yes, that's Clark.
Sorry, Clark.
Yep.
Clark Scott Carmichael, I think. Is it Clark Scott? What am I saying? Clark Carmichael.
Some guy named Clark.
It's Clark Carmichael, and yes.
Yes, sorry, Clark.
I'm going to be quiet.
Closes this weekend. I want to try to see that. We've got And Juliet at New Jersey Rep May 4th through June 4th. We have Curvy Widow at George Street Playhouse May 2nd through May 21st. We have Fixed by David Lee White.
Yes, David Lee White. He was one of our guests.
Another Chewing the Scenery guest at Passage Theater Company May 4th through the 21st. I love how there's like our guests are doing stuff. The Cat in the Hat at the Growing Stage opens tomorrow through the 21st.
Love the Growing Stage.
Intimate Apparel by Lynn Nottage, who just won the Pulitzer for Sweat.
Yes.
So
Which you think's going to win for
I think it's going to win
Tony.
Best Play. And that's playing
Although
at
I think Oslo is going to give it a run for its money from what I hear.
And you are entitled to your opinion.
I am. It's art.
It's fart. I mean,
it's
art. So that's at the McCarter Theater, Intimate Apparel, May 5th through June 4th. We have My Name is Asher Lev, or is it's Lev, right?
Mm-hmm.
South Camden Theater Company, May 5th through the 21st. We have Doubt. The play Doubt at Skyline Theater Company, May 5th through the 7th.
Yeah, they only do one weekend.
Let's see what else. The Merchant of Venice at the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey. That opens next week, May 17th to June 4th.
And I still have to put the Women's Theater Company up, but keep on going.
Well, the rest of the stuff opens in a couple weeks, so we will showcase them at another time. But what do you have at Women's Theater?
Women's Theater, we have Almost Maine. We open up May 12th. We go the 12th, 13th, 14th, and the following weekend, the 19th,
Why don't
20,
you give
21.
everybody just a quick little synopsis about Almost Maine?
Well, it takes place in a fictional town of Almost Maine on the nights of on the evening of the Northern Lights, and there's magic, there's a little heartbreak. It's little vignettes. And it's a very, very, very sweet play. I definitely recommend seeing it. I really do. I think it's the type of play we need right now, kind of like The Cat in the Hat. We need to kind of escape reality and just enjoy the theater. We have 4 fine actors. Scott McGowan, who was just in our last production of Musicals, the Musical. We also have...
Musical?
I know, I'm still saying that.
Hashtag musical?
Hashtag the musical. We have Kathleen Clancy. We have David C. Neal, and from the company.
Well, David C. Neal's from Skyline.
And then we have Andrea Prendamano, who is from the Theater Company, and they just closed Rabbit Hole last weekend.
Yeah, and they're a new member of the Theater Alliance.
They're new members, and they are located in Hackensack. So it's a cast of 4, and they play many different roles. And the set is very pretty. We have Stephanie Schulman, who is our scenic designer, and she's painting this beautiful landscape.
Nice.
So it looks like the mouse. And, I do the photography, too, and PR, and they... I was there for a photo shoot this week, and they were all bundled up.
I saw that photo. They're all wearing, like, wintry...
Yeah, because it takes place in, it's cold.
Yeah.
Where they take place. But it's a real charming show, very sweet, and definitely get your tickets, www.womenstheaterer.org.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So, I was going to say something and I completely forgot my train of thought.
He forgot his brain
farted. Brain farted. Yeah, my brain totally just
That's okay. We hit everything we wanted.
We did hit everything we wanted to.
We had a great interview with Lee Shorten,
the
actor, and I was very excited because I was really been really looking forward to this one for a very long time. So fingers crossed that I recorded it well enough where I can get it up on our Mixcloud in case you missed it. Thank you, Lee, for giving us some time today because I know that you are busy.
And he's in Canada. So
he's in Canada,
hey.
so
and he's not even like East Coast Canada. He's West Coast Canada.
Yeah.
Vancouver.
Is there a time difference there?
Gotta be.
There is, right? Because he did ask me Eastern. He did ask me if it was Eastern.
There's probably a
time.
3 hour time.
I wasn't even thinking. So
yeah. So
next up, he's not going to be in studio, but my buddy DJ Easy Win signpost to New Space. I'm going to be potting up a show for him. And everyone's saying today is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
But it's also Dave. The guy, Take 5. Dave Brubeck. 5-4.
What?
Okay. I'll talk about it. We'll talk about it off air.
Tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo.
It is
get a
Cinco.
margarita,
Are you doing
everybody.
Anything?
I have opening.
Oh, actually,
so maybe
I
have to get a maybe I'll go get a margarita before the show.
There you go.
Or after
or
the
during.
show. Or during the show.
Put
I'm not in the show.
No, we have going on here tomorrow night. I should not forget. We're back again with our First Friday series. We had a great Battle of the Bands last weekend.
First
really
Friday
quick. We didn't talk about it.
Bootin'.
So we had an excellent turnout for our Battle of the Bands. Really fun event. The winners of the evening were Switch Mob came in first. Owl Kill came in second. And third place went to Green Knuckle Material.
And you hosted the event.
I was the hostess.
The hostess with the mostest.
I was. And the 5 judges were Todd Mills, station manager of Homegrown Radio NJ. Jenny Catt, she is a singer-songwriter, 50s garage rock. Totally cool. Rocks out on a guitar, electric guitar. Mary Bird, who is another singer-songwriter, but she hosts many open mic nights here in Morris County. Brendan Fletcher, season 11. of The Voice, and Bill Westhoven, Daily Record journalist.
Yeah.
So I just want to mention our other bands. We had Burning Red Sun, Alien New Year, Underculture, Paulus Hook, and I'm missing one.
Paulus Hook.
Paulus
Are
Hook.
they from like Jersey City?
They might be.
I think
you know
that's
the
like
name?
the Paulus. Well, that's like a. It's like a section.
Oh,
I think.
wait. I want to look up the other band because I want to make sure. You know, it's so funny because I was promoting this whole event all last week. So I had these bands. They were like burned in my skull. And now it's over and I've moved on to other things. And I'm like, what was the band? But I definitely want to give them their credit because they all worked really, really hard. It was such a fun. It was something really fun to be a part of. So we had Burning Red Sun, Paulus Hook, Owl Kill, Underculture, Alien New Year. Oh, that was it. Green Knuckle, I said. Switch Mob. Oh, Drop Off Planet Earth, also known as Dope.
I love these names.
I know, Dope. So they were so much fun. And it was just so much fun to get all these fresh faces into the studio, into the Homegrown family. We were not in studio. We were actually in the space right across the street with our friends at the Boot and Elks. So it was great. They took care of the alcohol. We had a great food truck. It was the Angry Hippie food truck. We had some vending. Ron Gantz we had some a great live auction. So some people bought, guitars signed by James Taylor, Willie Nelson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was really, really, really
So
great.
definitely a successful event.
Oh, yeah. Definitely successful. We're definitely going to be doing it again. And, this is what it was. This is what I want. I said Brubeck, but I think my brain is like, I actually didn't even eat anything today. Crazy. I was doing stuff this morning, and I've just been on the caffeine kick. No, I was right, Dave Brubeck. That's right.
Yeah.
I was right. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so, Danny, I'm going to go set up the next show.
Yeah,
so what do you want to say?
So I just want to tell everybody to go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/chewing the scenery. Tell your friends, family, cats, dogs, neighbors, sisters, brothers, wife, everybody to go like our page.
Yeah, like it.
So they get all the information, and we'll start going live on there. We just need...
We need people to
We
go
need
there.
people to go there.
We want to go live there. We want to go live there.
We want to go there. And of course, we encourage you, as much as we love doing the Facebook Live videos, but we encourage you to listen on homegrownradionj.org.
It sounds great. It sounds great.
It does sound great. So give us the clicks.
Give us the clicks. Check our playlist.
Yeah, check out our playlist. If you're in your car and you could hook up your phone into your car speaker, I've done that many times. The TuneIn app. It sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome.
So,
and you're supporting freeform internet radio.
Yeah.
Feel free, if you can go right to our Homegrown page, make a donation. We are listener-supported radio station, and we are a non-for-profit without a 501c. Don't ask me why, but that's how it is. And so we're not, we're here because we want to give a voice to artists so they can, all artists of different type, musicians, painters, authors, magicians, actors, writers, directors,
coffee makers.
We're here to give them a platform so their voices can be heard. Yes, you should have.
I'm sorry.
So their voices can be heard. So we're gonna peace out. Next week we have the director and producer of The Boys of Bait coming in, which is a movie about addiction.
Ooh.
Which was filmed here in New Jersey. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Check it out.
And, we always have some fun stuff,
we do.
coming up. So you never know what's going to happen over here.
Fun and spontaneous. It's Chewing the Scenery with
is.
Lauren and Danny.
We chew.
Peace out, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. Bye.